the infinite. और जैसे ये imbalance होता है, we get disconnected from the world, we become imaginative, we get mentally disturbed, we become depressed. रिलेशनशिप इज विथ मदर. अगर हमारी मदर के साथ हमारा रिलेशनशिप अच्छा है तो हमारे अंदर एक सत्यचित आनंद की भावना रहती है, हमारा सहस्रार जो है वो ऑटोमेटिकली बैलेंस्ड रहता है. और मंत्र क्या है? ओम. सो सहस्रार का मंत्र है ओम, एंड ऑल द पेटल्स दे वाइब्रेट एट द एनर्जी ऑफ ओम. So practical solutions, meditation, if you want to really balance your sahasrar.
Yeah, Sonaldi, I think
Yeah.
if you can take the meditation after Mr. Aurelio speaks. Actually, he has to really leave urgent at 4.
Okay, no, I won't take. I've already decided.
He also called me to. I'm really sorry to.
I've already decided. I'm not taking. I'll not
Yeah.
take. We can take any time. We have got 2 other days also. Anytime,
Right.
if there's 15 minutes, half an hour left,
I mean,
I'm ready to take. No problem. I'll just finish this. I'll take 2-3 minutes. Yeah, I'll take 2-3 minutes in finishing this part.
Right.
So. Meditation and reduce usage of electronics as it leads to calcification and hardening of pineal gland. The more electronics we use, the wavelengths hardens our pineal gland, and it creates dysfunctionality of Sahasrara chakra. So this is the last slide, but most important slide because it can act as a precursor to the panel discussion that is going to happen now. Chakra balancing through mantra chanting. What is the scientific base of the mantra chanting? As we can see, all the petals are associated with different Bij mantras. So the Vishuddhi, you can see over here, it has got 16 Swarvarna. Ka, Ka, Ga, Gha, Anga, Cha, Cha, Ja, Ja, Nya, Ta, Tha. 16 Swarvarna. Then over here we have got this heart chakra, and it has got 12 petals.
Yeah,
and it has got cover Ka, Kha, Ga, Gha, Anga, Cha, Cha, Ja, Ja, Nya, Ta, Tha. And then we have got Anahat, Anahat, and then we have got Manipur. Manipur has got 6 petals, Ba, Ba, Bha, Ma, Ya, Ra, La, and then Va, Sha, Sha, Sa, then Ha, Cha, and Om. So all the Varnalipi of our Sanskrit is actually inscribed in our chakras. So when we are chanting the mantras, the chakras petals get activated and they go back to the natural frequency. And when these petals and the chakras go back to natural frequency because of the chanting of these Bij mantras, all the problems, be it physical, mental, emotional, psychological, spiritual, any kind of problem gets resolved. So this is the science, actual science behind mantra chanting, that how by just chanting of mantra everything is getting cured and all the situations in life is becoming rosy and very good. So because it is helping the chakras to align back to its original frequency and helping the nadis to have the energy flow properly, and then feeding the different bodies with the balanced energy. तो जब इस तरह से energy flow हमारा पूरा चक्र से हमारे different organs में, हमारे मनोमय कोश में सब जगह balanced हो जाता है, तो हमारे हर तरह की problem resolve हो जाती है. So mantra chanting is no magic, it is pure science, science of chakra balancing. So with this, I come to an end of my session. I hope you had a brief understanding of chakras. It is actually a very deep topic, but whatever I could do in this time. So thank you so much. If you want to know more details about it, I have got a video uploaded in my YouTube channel, Sonal Jain Jaiswal. You can actually go through that. So a lot of things will become clearer, because here, because of shortage of time, I had to really rush. So you can understand from there. Yeah, so with this, I'll take your leave, and thank you so much for such a patient listening.
Right. Sonaldi, thank you so much. Sonaldi is one of the organizer of our Global Wellness Summit. So we'll just send her the letter. There's no certificate for her because she's itself is the organizer. Herself is the organizer. Right. So we really appreciate how you summarize the chakra in such a small time span. I mean, I really appreciate. I've heard her many times, and I remember a PhD, lecture given by you. And we all students were so overwhelmed, matlab kitna overwhelmed. Everybody was like, ki nahi, share her number. Or, after the session was over, it was like, ki nahi bhaiya, video upload karo. Pehle jaldi didi ka video chahiye hame. You know, that meditation was very nice. It was such a nice having you always on
Thank you
board.
so much.
Thank
Thank
you
you so
so
much.
much. But since we have to
Yeah,
take
yeah, yeah. We
our
have to respect the time. That's why I just
correct,
winded up.
and
I was prescribed 45 minutes, and I think I could manage within that.
right.
So thank you so
No,
much.
definitely you managed very well, and thank you so much for briefing the session in such a brief time. So to take our session to the next level, I would like to invite none other than Dr. Manju Jain, hum sabki mentor. She has been recently given the title of Global Mother of Bhaktamar, Jain Superwoman, also, which totally suits to her personality and says it all about her. Actually, the name of Manju Didi speaks of itself, but still, just to give a brief introduction, थोड़ा सा उनके बारे में introduce करने के लिए मैं अपने आप को वैसे
Shikha, you need not give my introduction. We have Aurelio from
yeah,
Swaram.
yeah,
And I would like to hear more from Aurelio about
right,
sound engineering and mantras and French mother
correct,
and what was the philosophy of Orwell.
right,
So
right,
over to Aurelio.
right. So Brijesh, if you can please take him on spotlight.
So you have always heard of French mother from me, and I always wanted to create something like Orwell. And I have been successful. We have created Siddhaitan like that. And I would thank Sonal, who introduced me to her parents, and they brought up this Siddhaitan with Bhaktambar. And we are in association with Kulguru Kalidas University, which has approved our courses on mantra healing. 12 years back, it was a dream. Today, everyone is chanting in this world. And we have won COVID. We have overcome that disease, that fear, that wave by chanting and continuous 6 months. So it is a celebration. This Global Wellness Summit is a celebration, and that wave, that fear has gone. And each one who is sitting here has contributed to it for last 6 months, day and night. So I would thank Dr. Das, and I welcome Aurelio. And with us is Dr. Amrish Mehta, who has traveled with me to US, and he is always with us, showing impact of energy on our chakras and Vastu and 48 mantras, especially on health, wealth. And we have Mayank, who will tell you the geometry of all 48 shlokas. So over to you, Aurelio. And can we have Aurelio on spotlight? Swaram. He is by the name Swaram. Svaram. We have beautiful gadgets made by Swaram, and Swaram is the Sound Engineering Institute, and their healing with mind, body, and soul takes up. And it's a beautiful, beautiful center which we want to open in Siddhaitan. So Arihant is after it, and over to you, Aurelio. And please tell us philosophy of French mother, and if you can show your institute as well as what mother was, and how could everybody work without money, and how his food and shelter would be taken care by divine. So welcome, Aurelio, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. I wanted to thank the enthusiasm and the dedication of Dr. Manju. We had met just, I think, a year ago, and immediately we were in with some patients in health crisis. And Dr. Manju, without thinking, she stepped in. It was actually with a person in a dying process. And it was very beautiful for me directly to experience the power and the sincerity of the mantra. I'm welcoming all the viewers from wherever you are in the world. I hope that you didn't have to rush through the chakra, because actually there was supposed to be promised even a session on chanting the mantras. But we have some little surprise for you, and I think actually that would help us to go into a different domain and into a different atmosphere. Yeah. I'm sitting here in Auroville, near Pondicherry. Auroville was founded 1968. So we passed actually our 50 years just 2 years ago. And I think at the core of Auroville is that some of the seers, of the modern seers and yogis of the last 20th century of India, Sri Aurobindo, who was also involved in the independence struggle, he had a vision or experience that actually humanity, as we are, with all the problems we are facing, that we are actually only a transitional being. And that we that something, there's a retuning as we can experience now in the global pandemic crisis. Nature is evolving. It has evolved over millions of years, and the human being is the outcome, or so to say, apparently the flower of creation. But Sri Aurobindo had that vision and says, evolution is not stopping here. There is hope actually that we can grow, we can expand, we can become not only better human beings, but there's possibly a new influx of higher energies, higher intelligence coming into the human being. And he traces that progress from the mineral kingdom, and then this huge evolutionary step when life came into the play, and then so the plant kingdom basically, and then when the mentality, mental intelligence settled in or evolved out of nature. And so we are basically, as humans, we are those mental beings. And he says, and there's possibly a next step of evolution. So his spiritual companion, the mother, she was called Mira Alfassa from France, originally Turkish Egyptian origin. She had joined Sri Aurobindo in 1914. And in the 60s, basically, this idea came up of creating an international research station, a worldly ashram, an evolutionary laboratory. And it was endorsed by UNESCO at the foundation ceremony of Auroville. There were 144 countries. The young people from the countries brought a handful of soil and put it in our foundation urn. And so we are running since 50 years in this research on the next step in human evolution. And I think one of the gifts in relationship to the tradition, I'm very humble. I think I cannot speak about Sri Aurobindo and his achievements and his teachings, but to make it very simple for us to understand, Sri Aurobindo speaks about an integral yoga, bringing together the physical, vital, and mental and spiritual tradition domains through an integration of karma yoga, bhakti yoga, and jnana yoga. So when we work on all those three layers, we can open to a higher force, and the psychic being from inside can open. Okay, so that's the background, our workstation here. I'm working in a social development, rural social development project since 15 years, creating musical instruments for meditation and healing. I had a training in Austria, originally coming from Austria, Vienna, Salzburg, had a training in music therapy, but come from a esoteric, deep study school of Pythagorean studies, where we reconnected to what in India maybe when everybody says our Vedic age, in Europe, our culture, the roots of our culture lie in the Greek, Sumerian, Egyptian culture. And so I was in a school, and I was very happy actually there to learn about the universalities of sound, which very beautifully is laid out in the Vedic knowledge systems also. And mantra and the knowledge about vibration is one of its most essential parameters and gifts. So what I wanted to offer you, because you heard such an intense flow of words in the chakras, we have prepared a sound meditation for 3 minutes. in this meditation, it's based on the premise that actually our two main faculties of hearing and of seeing can work together. And they work together more smoothly when the brain waves slow down from a beta state into an alpha brainwave state, when we are kind of like in a daydreaming, dozing, relaxed state of mind, is a chance where sound perception and visual perception come into a synesthetic experience. So I'm inviting you for 3 minutes. We have a pre-recorded meditation, which we often use actually in introduction sessions. And you will hear all sounds of the instruments which we are creating here. And many of them, they have the quality of natural sounds, of water sounds, of cosmic sounds, of deep inner movements. And so I'm basically before we start, maybe you can find a relaxed position.
Yeah.
It's proper.
Yeah, Aurelio, we would like you to show your equipments also, the way you showed
Yes, we will
me.
do.
And yeah,
We will
and your
do.
center, and your center.
Okay,
Go
so
ahead.
let's say,
Okay.
very good. I'm very
Yeah.
happy because Dr. Manju is very pragmatic. I wanted to invite you into a listening experience for 3 minutes, and then we can reflect upon it a little bit. And then I will show you the very special worldwide unique equipment we are using and the tunings of sound. And then we can discuss a little bit about it. So we have the next 15 minutes for it. And I think I hope that we can share a little bit of the essence of what we are doing here.
Yeah,
Yeah?
you can take your own time, Aurelio. You
Okay.
can even take my time, but I want people to understand what Auroville is and what sound healing is.
Okay. So let's go maybe a little bit in a dream space. I'm saying Auroville was created as a cradle for a new man. Yeah. Let's say maybe in the Christian tradition, or I don't know the stories of how Krishna was born, but in the Christian tradition is actually when a new avataric influx into creation was coming. Basically, there's a place on earth receiving that influx. And Auroville is created as an experiment in human unity. We are about 3,000 people from 65 countries from all over the world, with specialists in many fields. And the field I'm working, integral healthcare, integrative healthcare, is a very big field. I think in Auroville we must have about 55 therapists working. Yeah. Now, we say maybe Auroville is a state of consciousness. It is in a very geographical location, but actually, I'm inviting you into an inner landscape. Yeah. Please find a relaxed position. See, you can dream a little bit for just 3 minutes. And we painted a soundscape with you, for you, from our instruments. And you can close your eyes with it, be with the sensations in the body, and maybe with some visual impact or whatever comes up in your biological, energetic system. Yeah, I'm inviting you for 3 minutes to listen. Take your time from your inner space, your inner world, to relate to the surroundings again. I hope actually it could give you a little bit impression. Even the recording from the waves was actually just from the beach. We're here on the Bay of Bengal, north of Pondicherry. And what we call those things sound meditations, sound paintings, soundscape compositions. And the idea is actually, I was very inspired by the Mandukya Upanishad talking about Om and the 4 layers of Om and the 4 states of consciousness, which we equate basically in the Western modern approach with the 4 states of brain waves. So when we are speaking together, we have a predominance of beta waves. You're listening to me, you want to catch the information. When we listen to music as we did before, I hope that it worked for some of you. We are coming we're coming into a more relaxed state. The brain waves slow down between 8 and 12 hertz, and we can come into the semi-dream state, which is very important for our integration. We know, for instance, that scientists and high-class sports people, they need to be able to access that alpha brainwave state to be as competent and top in whatever they do. Now, in the Upanishad, it talks then, so that's the Svapna state of in-between. We can go 1 layer deeper into Sushupti, where we go into sleep, where basically this reality, we are not perceiving it, and we go into a deeper state. We don't even cannot say that there are perceptions there. And if all those 3 states are integrated, the Upanishad says, so if I'm able actually, while we're exchanging information, if at the same time I can be in a deep bodily perception, in a presence, then maybe even something we think that the transmissions from the yogis, how they received mantras, how they were passing on mantras, happened actually in a very deep state of Sushupti or Turiya. Okay, so that's at the base of our work. Basically, I came to India to explore the phenomenon of Nada Brahman, because in the Greek tradition, we talk about logos, the creative word, the whole creation is out of vibration, was created. And for me, it was very beautiful to find that same concept in the Indian philosophy. And that brought me to India, and since 30 years, we are researching here. If you're interested, I can give you a glimpse of the instruments which we developed over the last 15 years. And I want to say, maybe in the context of what we will hear after from Dr. Manju, is actually at the core of the knowledge of sound and vibration. And the Indian tradition is one of the rare traditions in the world of humanity who still carries this ancient knowledge with it. And we all, here many of us, we are believers in the Indian Renaissance, and that actually India was harboring the Sanatana Dharma for the world. And then now is a time actually that we become conscious of this ancient heritage. We can use it and we can share it in the world as beautifully as Dr. Jain is doing it, bringing the mantras, the healing mantras all over the world and even into university institutes for research. So in that search for the healing sound, yeah, I trained in music therapy in Austria. I've been in world congresses for music therapy. Then you meet people from Korea and from Japan and Argentina and Iceland and all different countries. And so music is an inculturated form depending on the culture, how we grew up. So the question is, let's say the Western classical music, is that as effective for people in India when they listen to it, or is not Indian folk music and classical music more effective because people are familiar with it? So we, in our search and in Auroville, in many areas which we are working, we're looking for the universal principles behind language, and in that case, in my case, behind music. So that brought us into sound studies. And what we know from the Indian tradition, there are very few references in the Shastras on music therapy, instrumental therapy. Basically, in the Shastras, it says music is for mukti, for liberation, and we are not preoccupying ourselves with therapeutic or pathogenetic principles of it. But we know actually that in the Vedas and Upanishads and in the Tantric texts and in the Jain old scriptures and the Buddhist scriptures, that there's all the knowledge of sound and vibration is encoded in mantra, is encoded in the word. And we feel very fortunate with Sri Aurobindo. We think Sri Aurobindo was spending most of his life, almost 50 years of his life, writing Savitri. It's the longest poem in English language. It's about 24,000 lines. And he encoded all his experiences, so to say, into mantric speech. So we feel actually that's very important, I think, in this globalization of humanity. The Sanskrit mantras work very specifically, and they definitely have a universal, a domain of it where they can work and be valid for everybody. Similar possibly with the Jain Bhaktamanta mantras. With sound, we work with the universal principles of music. And again, we have them beautifully described in Natya Shastra. It's Svara, Tala, and Pada. It's the world of frequencies and melodies, the sound world. Tala is the rhythm and the pulsations, and Pada is the word, the lyrics, the intent, the meaning of what we are doing. Yeah.
Aurelio, I just request you to show your center of healing, yeah, so that people will understand more. Okay. If you can just take your mobile or whatever around the center and show the equipments, the gadgets which you are using, and your center, just to visit.
So let's do that. We start with the core room. We have a sound healing room, which took us about 10 years of research to put together. In that sound healing room, there are 8 elements. They are posted as according to Vastu principles, and they're around the core bed, a sound healing bed on which people lie like a massage table, and on the bottom of that massage table, we have 50 strings which are tuned like a tambura. So maybe let's take a look at this 1-minute clip, and then I see how we can actually show you more from the center.
Yeah. See, ये इनका सेंटर है. ये देखिए इन्होंने खुद गैजेट्स बनाए हैं. ये साउंड हीलिंग के हैं. विंड चाइम्स है, वो टेबल है, उसके ऊपर पेशेंट लेटता है और उसके बाद ये एक प्ले करेंगे. विंड चाइम प्ले करेंगे. They will play all the instrument, and when the person comes out, he is refreshed. He is full of life. All his emotions, blockages, all negative emotions, all are removed, and he feels as if he is coming out of a spa. So, Yeah, and can you show the ground portion also? Om Namo Bhagavati Kshatropadrao Shantikarani Rokashtajaropashamanam Shantim Kurukuro Swaha Om Rim Bhagavate Bhai Bhishanharaye Namah Om Namo Bhagavati Shutropadra Shantikarani Rokasharopashamanam Shantim Kurukuru Swaha.
Very grateful, Dr. Manju. I feel actually that, how to say, our sounds are almost like the bed for the mantra. But possibly, I think for those people interested actually in that room which we saw, we work with the ancient Shruti system of the Indian Shastras, and basically where every frequency is a mathematical proportion. And that's from the school I came from, because our body, everywhere in our body, we have the proportions between a whole. There's a golden mean here, there's another measurement here. And the music which we are doing with those instruments is based on the canon of proportions. That's what the Shrutis basically represent in a very wonderful way. And when we listen to that music directly and we have the vibroacoustic impact of it on the body goes into deep states of relaxation. And through those states of relaxations, we invoke and encourage the homeostatic self-healing power of the patient. Yeah? We work with all different modalities, different cases, and all of that. We say we cannot heal anybody. We don't claim actually that, but we can stimulate the self-healing power of the natural organism. Okay. Dr. Manju wanted that I could take you around actually on the campus. I think we have a, Marco, would you be ready? We have a 1 minute clip where you get impressions from the environment of Swaram. And basically, Auroville is this beautiful place. We are embedded in the ancient culture of Tamil Nadu, and we are in this utopian project. Please get some impressions. Okay. Yeah, we're working with singing stones. We're the only people in the world. Here you can see a therapeutic setting. We have a sound garden. We have outdoor sound installations. We work with sensory experiences to bring the children away from the electronic gadgets. It's all about listening, learning listening, and how listening improves the quality of life. This is a 2-meter big barrel of a storm drum. It gives the sound of a thunder. Those are the natural materials with which we are working. As I said, we have 50 artisans from low-income communities. We are one of the specialists in class musical instruments. Here we're working on planetary frequencies. We give courses to young students and visiting schools from all over India. Very, very important for young people that they learn to work with their hands. We have a performing group. This was happening in Pondicherry Palace at Kiran Bedi's sing. And we do psychoacoustic research in our studios. We have recording studios. Marco is sitting behind the scenes. We develop sets for musical instruments. We have international seminars with participants from all over the world coming for yearly trainings. We conduct very popular sound journeys, public sound baths, sometimes for 100 people. We do work in the corporate sector using music and musical principles for team building and life enhancement. That's the overview. we would still have 5 minutes if I can answer some questions, or if there's more, Dr. Manju, please let us know.
Yeah, Aurelio, thank you so much for telling us about your center, about healing mantras. And I would like Dr. Amrish Mehta, who's a sound engineer, he will enhance your sound engineering. So I would like him to speak about how Bhaktambar affects your system and how mantras on health, wealth, and education. The research we have been taken on cancer patients and COVID patients, like in this era, whoever was attending our conference, like there were 5,000 people who were attending for last 6 months. All are healers. Like we have a team of healers, and we have opened a SVS hospital where 15 hospitals have been established of Bhaktamar healing. And all those patients, they did not get COVID. Even if they got fever, they came out. The fever brought down by chanting 33 number shloka. Then they did 45, and whoever
Amazing.
went to hospital, they came out of it. So yes, Amrish ji, can you add weight? अमरीश जी से जब आप भक्तांबर सुनेंगे तो आपको ऐसा लगेगा कि आप भक्तांबर की पार्टी से आ रहे हैं. अब सब 2-3 घंटे से सीरियस टॉक हो गया है. So now Amrish ji will take you through a party of Bhaktambar, 48 magical tools of manifestation.
Right.
So
how much time do?
Announcement that we have that Miss Mikio Hayashi has arrived here. So we'll brief the session in 15 minutes, and 4:30 we'll start her session too. So just to
Okay.
inform you.
So I have about 15 minutes with me, right?
yeah.
That's fine. That's a hell of it's a huge time. Okay, let's get started. See, generally, what we do is that whenever, but for this current scenario, we would have the talk show in auditorium, and hundreds of thousands of people would be there, and we would pick up somebody from the audience and get him or her on the stage, and we'll measure his or her chakras. And I will show you how we measure the chakras and what kind of impression you can see. And from there, I will take it off, that how, things can actually change the moment you recite the Bhaktamar Stotra. Can I share the screen, please? I have.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Okay. Ask me later. What is this? This is what is not needed. 1 second. Okay. I will show you. Generally, when we pick up somebody from the audience, we measure their chakras real time like this, and we start from the root chakra. And I'm giving an hypothetical situation for you to see how chakras are measured. Generally, we have a tool. It's a device which has got numbers in it, and the moment you keep it in front of your chakra, it registers, it has a counter, it finds out what wavelength you are having. I'm just writing hypothetically that this had this kind of a wavelength, then this kind of picture will come about. And let's say if we go to the sacral chakra, and if this was the wavelength, then this kind of situation will come about. And if this was the third one, and I will talk to you about the throat chakra. Essentially, let's say, typically, whenever we have some woman who has a thyroid problem, and when we would measure her, generally this throat chakra would come out black. And this can be seen real time live on screen by everybody. This is the kind of colors that you would get to see on different chakras. So what we do is that the moment the throat chakra is seen as off balance, because generally when your throat chakra is not in a balance mode, you can have a problem of communication, be it under or over, and you cannot really present yourself, and there is a huge gap between success and failure of your being able to communicate aapko kya chahiye, to be able to get it. So when the third throat chakra is in an imbalance mode, generally we recite Manjuji Alpa Shrutam.
Okay. Alpa Shrutam Shrutavatam Parihasadhama त्वद्भक्तिरेव मुखरीकुरुते बलान् माम् यत्कोकिलः किल मदौ मधुरं विरोति तच्चाम्रचारुकलिकानिकरैकहेतु. Since this forum is for education, I would just like to brief you that we worked on 410 children with psychometric test. So we, Amrish ji, if you can just let me share the screen. Can I just show you?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
So, okay. So I'll just show you the research we took on children. And this is like a shloka for enhancing your IQ and memory. So what is mantra? Is a tool of mind, and when repeated over a period of time, it brings change it brings a shift in your consciousness. So what is Bhaktambar? Bhaktambar is most powerful